After being forced to sell half of the company during the COVID lockdown, Juicy co-founder Tim Alp is now focusing his efforts on LyLo, a budget-friendly hotel chain with a flagship property in Auckland. Under the ownership of the EVT Group and Iron Expansion in Australia, Tim joins us to discuss what we can expect from LyLo. Kia ora, Tim. Thanks for coming in today. Really appreciate your time. I'm just wondering, could you share a little bit about the inspiration behind LyLo, first of all, and how it differentiates from traditional budget accommodation?
Yeah, sure. So this sort of dates back to when, with the Juicy camper van business, that obviously it came from there, and we had a lot of people who were hiring vehicles with us, cars and camper vans, and they're saying, look, we love the innovation in that product, but we get out there, we want to stay in accommodation, really good affordable accommodation, and there's just not a lot of good stuff out there. And it kind of gave us the idea to go, actually, is there a way in which we could rethink this sort of budget lifestyle accommodation? And that's how the idea for LyLo sort of came about. We looked at traditional, I suppose, hostel or backpacker accommodation, and we thought, how much better could it be if we just brought some innovation in? So we designed our unique pods that we offer, our unique accommodation, and we also really tried to create a product which was very much around community travel, community living, so really, really cool communal bathrooms, communal kitchens, communal areas. Just totally tried to reinvent what was out in the marketplace, and it's been great.
So you've just recently opened in Auckland, now you're eyeing up expansion in Brisbane. Can you talk a little bit about, firstly, the expansion strategy, and then also how you select new locations for LyLo properties?
Yeah, sure. So, it was always one of those things when we built our first, obviously we had one in Auckland before, and then Christchurch and Queenstown, and then we were building a flagship property in Auckland, which we actually kicked off pre-COVID, and then it sort of took 4 years to get completed with stops and starts in terms of the tourism industry and COVID, etc. So we always wanted to build this flagship property up here in Cook Street in Auckland. We opened that in December of 22. So that's about sort of 14 months ago, and it's just been incredible. It's gone really, really well. It's the biggest property of its type in the country. It's sort of never been done before across New Zealand or Australia, this sort of type of offering, and it's been really, really well received by both traditional, I suppose, hostel customers, but also by a whole range of different people who would never stay at hostel accommodation before. And so it sort of gave us the confidence to go, okay, that's gone really, really well. Now, where can we take this product? And we're really fortunate with EVT, the parent company. They've obviously got a huge experience in hotel expansion. They have the Ridges, the QT, the Atura hotel brands. So they know how it is to roll out a concept. And so, they were Jane Hastings, the CEO, was very adamant to me that, she really saw this opportunity and wanted to replicate it across New Zealand and Australia. So the opportunity was for us to take that. So, and Australia is a big market. And again, similar to New Zealand, over COVID, it was decimated. I think we lost about 70% of beds in New Zealand. They lost about 50%. So the opportunity is now to actually go and replicate what we've done in Auckland, Christchurch and Queenstown and take that across the ditch. So for us, it's really looking at the key markets and the key gateways are probably what we're focusing on first and foremost. And Brisbane being one of those, obviously Sydney, Melbourne, Cairns, Perth, all the major gateways in Australia, and also a few more in New Zealand as well.
Who is the typical LyLo guest, and how have you tailored your experience for them? And have you noticed any changing trends in customer expectations since LyLo's inception?
Yeah, it's a really good question. We initially, obviously, would target the sort of 18 to 35-year-old backpacker market, and that was sort of what traditionally stayed at this sort of accommodation. That's really changed post-COVID. So we've actually seen a real increase of a lot more solo travellers, a lot more people in their 50s and 60s, 70s who would never have stayed in a hostel will stay with this type of offering. And we've been able to do that because we've created a product like our pods, for example, are totally unique. You have your own private pod, your own privacy shield that comes across. So it's very much like communal travel, but having the security and safety that comes along with the offering that we offer. So we've designed products which cater for people who would never have thought about this type of accommodation. We've got ensuite rooms, we've got shared rooms. And it's really, I suppose, really targeting people who, again, would never have stayed. We've got families who will come and take a whole pod room out because it's more affordable than taking 2 hotel rooms. So, and that sort of stuff that's come out of COVID, whilst COVID was decimated our industry, it taught us a lot and enabled us to actually think outside the square, which has been really, really exciting. And I think that's what we've seen is really great. So we're not just reliant on one type of clientele. We get a whole bunch of difference. We're seeing people who will come and stay for a month with us, and they'll work from from LyLo. So with LyLo, you can work, eat, play anywhere in the building.
How is business going? Can you share any key figures and numbers, revenue, profit, and what's the financial trajectory looking like for LyLo?
Yeah, I mean, we've always said, and I've always said this to Jane and the EVT guys, is we need to earn the right to grow. So it's really important that as a business we perform and we deliver, and we're doing that. We've had a great year. The first year of Auckland, you always get a bit nervous when you open a new property with sort of 300 beds, but it's gone exceptionally well. We've had occupancy well in excess of 80% across the year. That's gone really well. The demand for the product has been great, and they're giving us the confidence to then go, okay, where else can we take this product? So that's been good. Our Queenstown property, that we're right in the heart of Queenstown down there, and Queenstown's bounced back, and that's been really great to see. So that's going really well. And Christchurch, which was a little bit slower to kick back off in, I think we always knew it was going to be a little bit slow. We were based at the airport there, but now the flights have all started to return to the South Island, which is great, and we're starting to see really, really good demand for that.
Awesome, really exciting stuff. Obviously, EVT is playing quite a pivotal role in all of this. For those who are unfamiliar with the background between Juicy, LyLo, and how EVT's come to be a part of this, can you just explain the nature of that relationship and also, I guess, the influence that they have on the strategy and vision for LyLo?
Yeah, sure. So it's so before COVID, not actually that long before COVID hit, we locked down. We sold half of our accommodation business, Juicy Snooze, to EVT. Obviously, EVT is a very strong player in the hospitality hotel market across New Zealand and Australia, but this sector of the market they didn't have a presence in, so they really liked what we were doing with Juicy Snooze, and we wanted to take it from a innovation and development perspective and growth. So they bought 50% of it but just before COVID, and obviously when the borders closed and 90% of our businesses stopped overnight across the Juicy portfolio, and we had to diversify, and we sold the other half. They bought the other half of Juicy Snooze during COVID, and asked me to come along and help them roll out the concept and complete Auckland, and then roll out this concept across New Zealand, Australia, and beyond. So it's been fantastic. I mean, they're very passionate about this sector. They've seen what can be done in the space. I think they've been a really pivotal part in our ability to think a lot bigger than just being restrained, I suppose, by certain areas. That their mandate is how do we really grow this? How do we become the dominant player in this market? How do we continue to innovate? They're really respectful of that, and I take my hat off to them. They're very respectful of the fact that actually we are different, and we need to move quickly, and let's not stifle that, but let's give all the support around it to grow. So it's been, so far, so good.
I'm just wondering what sort of challenges you've had to overcome. You mentioned COVID, and obviously that made you have to force you to pivot a little bit. Over the last sort of 12 months, what challenges have you faced and how have you overcome these?
Yeah, I think the thing for us in terms of, you've always got challenges ahead of you. As I said to you before, we've got to earn the right to grow, and I've been very adamant about that with our team. Some of the big challenges that I suppose we've faced is anything to do with construction and build has always been a challenge. We've had lots of cost escalations and stops and starts with COVID didn't make it easy when you're building stuff. I think just trying to find people was a big one for us. We've when the borders closed, all the traditional people in our sector buggered off back home again. So to get good people within the business again was difficult. And we're a people business. Our people are everything. You can build the most beautiful looking property. You can have the best beds, the best everything else. But unless you've got the right people who represent the brand, who are passionate about the business, it all falls over. So for us to get those people has been a bit of a challenge, and hold on to them. Thankfully, that is changing with more people coming in with visas, working holiday visas being a lot more accessible, which has been great. Small challenges like Queenstown, for example, getting accommodation for our staff has been a real challenge and a real nightmare. And so, we've had to be able to try to find ways in which we can accommodate and help them get accommodation just to get through. So there's no end of challenges across the line, but I suppose what it does do is make you continuously think outside the square a little bit, which has been really exciting.
Looking ahead to the future, where do you see LyLo in 5 years? Do you have any specific goals in terms of, portfolio size, your presence geographically, or other service offerings that you might have available? Yeah,
look, we're very much on a growth aspiration. We think this product, we want to take more LyLos to the market. We think the market is desperate for them. I think we've shown with our properties here in New Zealand, and especially in Auckland and Christchurch and Queenstown, that actually there's a huge demand for this type of product and offering. and we're very fortunate to have the really good support of EVT to go, okay guys, where can we go? So, I mean, for us, 5 years' time looks like we want to be the dominant player in the space, not just across New Zealand and Australia, but I'd like to think that we're in other geographic locations as well. Places, what we do know is that because the majority of our customers are internationals, especially over summer, we know that LyLo has global appeal. So a LyLo in the UK, in London, a LyLo in Los Angeles, a LyLo in Hong Kong is totally is a total realistic opportunity and goal. So we're really keen to grow. We've got some great projects in the next 12 months. Obviously, we've got Brisbane coming up, which is really exciting. We opened that in April, and then we're doing a project in the Gold Coast on the back of the QT Hotel there, which will be a flagship property in Australia. It'll be incredible. And we're doing a property in Fremantle as well. So there's lots happening, which is really exciting.
What's been a highlight for you over the last sort of 12 months in this journey with LyLo so far?
I'm very thankful and grateful for the opportunity to relaunch and do something totally different, but do it again. And I think LyLo, the brand is only sort of 14 months old, and what we've done in that space already, and the presence and the impact that we've had has been incredible. So I love the fact that we're a startup. I love the fact that we've got the support behind us to grow really strong. So that kind of gives me my mojo. And to be fair, COVID, that kicked our ass, and this has been quite cathartic for me, and it's given me this sort of new lease on life, I suppose, and I'm very grateful for that. And I think we've learned so much, and what we're doing now will be so much better business going forward as a result. And I'll be a better person as a result as well. So it's been awesome. So I'm really thankful and grateful for it.
How have your visitor numbers compared to your projected sort of bounce back post-COVID?
Yeah, I think we were always going to struggle a little bit. We had a very, for better or worse, we took a really strong line on the border closures, and it took us a lot longer to kickstart and reboot. It was also expensive to get here, and there wasn't as many flights, and then the visa process was also a bit antiquated and a bit difficult. So we had a few things against us, which really made it difficult for us to encourage a lot of people to come in. Australia, no question, they did a better job in terms of that, opening it up quicker, and they got the benefit from it. Canada got the benefit from it. So I think we're there now. We're getting there now, and we're starting to see the real. I mean, we probably expected a few more international customers coming in. Didn't really impact on our business as much, though. I think our clientele will come regardless. They usually bounce back post 9/11 or GFC or SARS. That sector of the market, that free independent sort of sector, bounces back a little quicker.
Tim, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, buddy. Really enjoyed it.
To support our award-winning independent journalism, subscribe to nbr.co.nz.